The higher you went, the longer you lasted. But survival came with a cost. This is Project Anoxia. Chapter 8. Vertical Divide. The separation was not announced. It emerged. At 6 cities no longer functioned horizontally. Movement across streets had slowed to near stillness. Vehicles sat abandoned where they had stopped, not from damage, but from disuse. The effort required to move, physically, respiratorily, was no longer sustainable for most. Movement shifted upward. Buildings became environments. Levels became boundaries. At ground level, the air was heavy, not unbreathable, but resistant. Each inhale felt incomplete. Each exhale, insufficient. People did not stay there unless they had no choice. At mid-level floors, conditions were marginally better, enough to sustain, not enough to recover. At upper levels, the difference was noticeable, not comfortable, but manageable. Rooftops became the most valuable space. By 7:20, access points to upper levels were controlled, not officially, physically. Doors were blocked, stairwells monitored, elevators disabled or restricted. Those already above stayed above. Those below attempted to move. At 8, the first organized group formed inside a high-rise structure. Not a government unit, not military. Occupants. They established rules. Access required contribution. Space required justification. Breathing required permission. At 8:45, the first person was denied entry to an upper floor. No explanation, no appeal. They remained at the stairwell landing for several minutes, then sat down, then stopped moving. Others stepped past, carefully. At 9:30, Layla Rahmani left her office, not by decision, by necessity. The air inside had shifted, not dramatically, but enough. She moved slowly, each step measured, not from fear, from limitation. She avoided elevators. They had become unreliable, unpredictable. She took the stairs up. At 10:10, she passed 3 people sitting along the stairwell, all conscious, all breathing. None spoke. At 10:40, she reached a higher floor. The air felt different, not cleaner, just less heavy. She paused, adjusted her breathing, continued. At 11:15, she reached the upper access level. The door was closed, not locked, blocked. She knocked once, no response. She waited, then knocked again. A voice from the other side. Full. Layla did not respond immediately. I just need space to work, she said. Silence. Then, no one works up here. A pause. Then I just need air. Another pause. Longer. Then, we all do. The door did not open. Layla stepped back, not in anger, in understanding. At 12 o'clock, similar interactions occurred across the city. Repeated, consistent. Access was no longer based on identity or role, only position. At 12:30, the first coordinated expulsion occurred. A group removed 2 individuals from an upper level. No violence initially, then resistance, then force. The individuals were pushed downward. No one followed. At 13:10, the acoustic pattern returned. 38 seconds. Clearer, structured in layers, repeating intervals, almost mapping. No system recorded it as significant. At 13:45, low-lying zones were abandoned entirely. Not declared, just empty. Shops, streets, underground spaces, all left behind. At 14:20, bodies were first observed at ground level, not from injury, from stillness. At 1500, movement slowed across all levels, even above. Breathing consumed energy. Energy limited movement. People spoke less, thought less, acted only when necessary. At 1540, a group attempted to descend, searching for supplies. They returned, fewer in number, no explanation given. At 1615, Layla remained in the stairwell, between levels, not above, not below. She listened, to movement, to breathing, to something else, faint, distant, a pattern. At 1650, she recognized it, not consciously, but physically. It aligned with something. Breathing. Inhale, pause. Exhale, pause. The pattern matched it, almost perfectly. At 1730, she wrote it down, not on a screen, on paper. She did not know why. At 1800, upper levels reached capacity. No more movement upward, only maintenance. At 1840, internal conflicts increased. Not loud, not chaotic. Quiet, deliberate. Space was limited, oxygen more so. At 1920, a decision was made in one building. Those unable to maintain stable breathing would be moved downward. The decision was enforced. At 2000, the 9th broadcast attempted to air. It did not complete. Signal loss. At 2030, communication networks began to fail. Not completely, intermittently. Messages delayed, calls dropped, information fragmented. At 2110, Layla stopped moving. Not from exhaustion, from realization. There was no safe level, only later. At 2200, atmospheric levels dropped again. Upper floors felt it. Breathing tightened, even there. At 2300 UTC, the distinction between above and below began to blur. Not in space, in time. All levels were moving toward the same point. At 0000 UTC, the unknown gas increased again, faster than before. At 1 o'clock UTC, the first rooftop evacuation attempt failed. There was nowhere higher to go. At 2 o'clock UTC, people stopped trying. At 300 UTC, the air felt the same everywhere, and it was not enough. Thanks for listening to Chapter 8, Vertical Divide. If you like our show, please subscribe and share with your friends and family. Height bought time, but time was running out anyway. Proceed to Chapter 9. This has been a Last Echo Archive production.